Welcome to the next episode of NetKno, the networking show, where we're all talking about networking. And in this episode, I want to look at something that you might have heard before in regards to networking and building relationships. And that is that we need to have know, like, and trust. So this episode is all about building know, like, and trust in our networks, what that even means, what that entails, and how we can do it. So the idea is that when we build relationships within our networks, we need to have these three core elements present in order for anyone to recommend us, to want to work with us, or to buy from us. So I love the example of restaurants because I'm a big foodie. So if anyone ever says to me, "Oh, Jenny, could you recommend a restaurant?" I'll be like, well. And then there's a whole list of questions. What time of day do you want to go? Is there special dietary requirements? Is there a special occasion that's happening? How many people is it for? Are there kids involved? Are you taking your dog? A lot of questions, but based on all that information, I'm able to, in my mind, narrow down the restaurants that I would then recommend for that person. And I take it very seriously because the last thing you want is someone to go for a nice meal, especially if it's like a big occasion, proposals and such. Go for a meal and the service is crap, or the food was crap, or it was cold, or whatever, because that makes you look bad. And this is the thing about networking. When people recommend us, when they refer us, they don't just do it on a whim. And the higher the stakes are, and I say stakes, we've just talked about restaurants, so it's a bit of a food pun, but the higher the stakes are, the more important it is that we've got these three elements really nailed down, that know, like, and trust. So in order for someone to recommend you, your product, your service, recommend you as an individual for a job opportunity, whatever it is, in order for someone to open a door for you, you need to make sure that not only do they know you as a person, but they need to know what you do. They need to really grasp and understand what your area of expertise is. This is why it's important to, when it comes to building our networks, that we're not just going to networking events. We need to counteract that with online activities. So we need to make sure that we're networking remotely, in that we are sharing content. And there's loads of different ways we can do content creation. We're going to do another episode on that. But when you're sharing your content, the idea is that we do that so that we build these associations in people's minds between us and our area of expertise. So should anyone that knows anyone ever says the words, "Oh, do you know anyone that does whatever it is you do?" and you are the person that they think of, you want to be at the forefront of their mind. So they need to know that you exist, yes, but more than that, they need to really know and understand what it is you do, what it is you offer. Think about what it is that you want to be known for. So obviously I want to be known for networking, hence why I talk a lot about networking, hence why we've created this networking podcast, why I do public speaking, why I write blogs, I share content. I do that, one, to add value to people. I want to help people get more from networking, but I also want to build those associations in people's minds so that if anyone I know or that anyone that they know ever asks the question, "Do you know someone that could come in and do some training on networking?" I want to be the person that they think about. So I'm asking you to think about what it is that you want to be known for. What is your area of expertise? If there was a phone a friend on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and the question was on a specific subject, what is it that someone would ring you for? And that's what you need to be talking about. That's what you need to be putting out to your network. That's what you need to be sharing knowledge about, creating content about, talking about, so that when they need you, you're the one that they think of. So that's the know element of the know, like, trust. When it comes to the like, this is probably the easiest one to build. You can do it dead fast because people, when they meet us, they decide really, really quickly whether they like us or not. We can't help it. We are human. This is probably the easiest one, but it's often the one that people forget about. And they'll maybe just switch on their charisma and charm on certain occasions. But the thing with this element, the thing with getting people to actually like you, is that you've got to do it all the time. You've got to simply just be a nice person. You've got to be nice, and not just to the people that you think will add value to you, not just to the people, the customers, or, the people that you want to leave a good impression on. No. This needs to be to everyone that you encounter. There's that whole saying that you can You can tell a lot about a person by the way they treat a waiter or a waitress, when they're out for a meal. And I totally believe that. Like the way that people treat each other when they think no one's watching, that's when their real character comes out. So I want you to imagine that every interaction you have, someone, even, especially if it's like your dream client, your dream whoever, they are watching and they are judging. And think about, right, what would they take from this? What would they take about how I treated this person? And just act accordingly. It's not rocket science, but it's often forgotten. So if you can be the person who's just nice to everyone, from CEO to janitor, you are going to build this reputation. You're going to make people feel good. And this is what we want to do. And there's an old saying, and I can't remember who said it. I always forget this one. That's like, people don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. And that really plays into this like element. And, when we're nice to people, we're not only making them feel good, we're making ourselves feel good, but anyone that witnesses that interaction, they're feeling good as well. And this is our oxytocin chemical. It's our connection chemical. It's our one of our happy hormones. It makes us feel good. It's often associated with parents and their babies. And when parents kiss their babies, they get a hit of oxytocin. The baby gets a hit of oxytocin. It's a really powerful thing, and it connects us and binds us together. But it happens also just when we simply like shake hands or we touch. And this is why that's a really powerful thing. So going out networking, shaking someone's hand, that physical touch, that releases that chemical connection as well. But we also experience it when we see someone do a good deed or someone does a good deed towards us. That's why there's always videos, going viral of someone saving the baby from the car that's about to come, or, someone doing a nice thing as for a stranger. It makes us feel good as the watcher, as well as the people who are involved in that. So doing nice things, being a nice person, not only is it going to build that like element with the person you're interacting with, but it's also going to build that brand for yourself with all the other people that are around you that witness it, or that person that you've made feel good, they're going to tell others about that as well. So we've got nailed. We're lovely humans, so we go out and be nice to people. That means we've got like nailed. Now we've got the trust bit, and this is always the hardest bit. And it's probably the hardest because it's the most complex. It takes the most time. It's the most fickle. But when we have trust, real trust with each other, it is so powerful. And there's loads of wonderful research in trust. There's loads of great books about building trust. One of my favorite books on trust is The Speed of Trust by Stephen M.R. Covey. And my favorite quote from that is that trust is equal parts character and competence. And I just absolutely love that. And this is, again, this feeds into the know, like, trust as a whole. But in order for us to build trust with people, they need to know our character. They need to know what kind of person we are. So those little interactions we have when we're nice to people, that building of like, that showcases that we are trustworthy. We're good. We've got good morals. We're just good people. It's worth investing your time in us. But then equally as important is this competence. And that's sometimes forgotten with trust as well. So we need to showcase that we're freaking awesome at what we do. We know our stuff. We are the experts that we claim to be. And building that, again, that takes time. It takes consistency. So doing that in person, absolutely, being trustworthy and helping to build that within the relationships that you have with networking in person. But again, this is where online can really come in and help build that trust dimension. So showcasing your knowledge by being that thought leader in your area of expertise, which again links back to the know element. Talking about publicly what it is that you are an expert in, building those associations. But by building those associations, you're also building that trust. So sometimes in business especially, and in academia, we feel like we need to hide our knowledge. We need to keep, that's our valuable asset. We need to keep, if we share it, no one's going to want to pay for it. When actually, by sharing our knowledge, what we're doing is we're showcasing how knowledgeable we are. We're building that trust in people's minds so that if they ever need us Not only do they know that we're there, they know what we do, they like us as people, they want to work with us, spend time with us, and they'll happily recommend others to do the same. But they've got that trust there that we can deliver. We know what we're talking about, and we are amazing at the area that we specialize in. So again, if there's an opportunity in that field, we're the one that we think of, that they think of, and we're the one that they put forward for that opportunity. And this is when the doors just fly open. Like, I cannot tell you how many, not just personal experiences, but stories I hear of, even this podcast is such a wonderful example. So the studio that I'm in Cumbria, this is through an amazing guy called Pete, who I met literally 10 years ago in Cumbria when I ran a network over here. We always got on really well. We didn't really, I don't think, actually do any this is, do you want to buy from me? Do you want to sell from me? But we always referred people because we knew each other, we liked each other, and we trusted each other. And then 10 years later, here we are getting to work together, create this podcast together. And you never know when things are going to come around full circle. As I said before, it's a long game that we're playing to build these relationships long term. But leaving a good impression on someone today can and will open doors for you in the future. And that could be in a week's time. It could be in a month's time. It could be in 10 years' time. You just never know. But acting accordingly now, it can be an absolute game changer for you, for your career, for your business, for your research, whatever it is. So that's all it comes down to. It's that building that know, like, and trust so that you can effectively just have all these amazing opportunities and these doors open for you in the most wonderful ways. So if you've got any stories like that, I would absolutely love to hear them. Put them in the comments, tell me, get in touch. And yeah, hopefully that's helped frame what networking is all about. We're getting there now. We're kind of getting rid of these fears, hopefully. It's just about building these lovely relationships and seeing where they lead. So that is it for this episode. Hope you've loved it. Hope it's helped. And obviously, make sure you subscribe, press the bell, and I'll see you over at the next one.
A Liquid Studios production.